All right. Good morning, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us all here today. Today's shir should be Le'ilu Nishmas, our dear friend Menachem ben Yisrael Yaakov, as well as my dear aunt Rivka Bas Gavriel Tzvi, and for Zaidi Reb Shmuel ben Yosef Dov HaKohen, and L'Rafua Shalema Bekarov, Meshalom ben Sarachel, Miriam Basara, and Yair Yeshia ben Chaya Atara. Today we are on page 184 in the art scroll for those who are following along. Now, today we're going to talk about Bitachon and how it differs between mitzvah, doing a mitzvah, and doing material matters like working or doing something for your health or for your sustenance. The question over here is that if we know that we're supposed to put our shtadlis in everything, including mitzvahs, and the outcome is up to Hashem, then the question here is why did Chavos Avos make a separate category for when it comes to Bitachon, to mitzvahs, to personal mitzvahs? Why couldn't he just put it in together with the shtadlis portion, or the first three categories anyway in there, as far as preserving one's health, or shtadlis for one's sustenance? Why does he have its own separate category? And so he says like this, that there's a very, very big difference, and there's two main differences in these, and he's going to explain it this way. He says, the difference between doing mitzvahs for Hashem and doing your hishtadlis for worldly endeavors, so like working for a living or going to doctors for your health or doing some other stuff. He says, in regard to relying on Hashem, in regarding worldly matters, it is not clear to which particular means is better or more effective than others. Nor do we know the greater potential for loss and other disadvantages from one compared to the other. Meaning, when we go out and look for a job and we find something, remember at the beginning in the introduction we spoke about finding a job that suits your personality. We look for a job, look for a means of commerce based on Bitachon, and by that we have to look for something that makes sense for us. We did all that, we found something. But at the end of the day, we're not sure if we made the right decision, and we just went with what we understand that makes sense for us at the time. And so when we chose that occupation, that job, that career, it could go well, it could not go so well. It could be something that we wind up liking, it could be something that we wind up straying away from. So we don't know. So over there, having Bitachon comes in the choosing portion as well, meaning in the choice of commerce or job or doctor that we choose, or whatever it is that you're choosing in worldly matters, you have to have Bitachon in Hashem for the choices you're making, that you are making the right choice and not the wrong choice. But for we cannot accurately determine in advance which of these means of endeavor is good for us or more fitting, in our request for sustenance, health, and other material benefits, in the realm of business, for example, we do not know with which merchandise or which route or which avenue, whatever it is, what kind of custom to go after, which one is going to work out. Once we get involved with them, the same applies in regard to seeking a cure for an illness and the like. Thus it behooves us to rely on Hashem, both in regard to choosing that endeavor for work or health or whatever, and in the outcome. So when it comes to worldly matters, you have two parts that you need to have full Bitachon. The choice of commerce, or the choice of doctor, or the choice of whatever it is you're looking to get out of it. And then in the outcome, you also have Bitachon in the outcome. And we went through that whole idea. Now, when it comes to doing mitzvahs or refraining from doing averis, that is very different. That is not only we must rely on Hashem to make the path that we can choose succeed. Sorry, I went off before. And accordingly, we should pray to Hashem to give us insight. Before we get into the mitzvah portion, he also says over here, at the end of the day, he spells out tefillah. One of the biggest things we have to understand is, obviously we need to have Bitachon and Hashem, but tefillah is a very big component of Judaism. And even though we do have to have Bitachon and things are going to work out the way they're supposed to, Rav Av points out over here that tefillah is a component of it, and that you shouldn't just sit back idly. Part of your shtadlus is also to go and daven to Hashem, maybe even extra, say some telling, whatever it is, in order for Hashem to give you what you're looking for. Now, to choose the path that is best and most fitting for us, that we go and we daven, Hashem, please, give me the das, that whatever job I choose, whatever doctor I choose, whatever it is that I choose, school I choose for my children, the shidduch for my child, whatever it is, that is the right one. Here it comes to the mitzvahs part. So again, by the worldly matters, we have two things. We have to have bitachon in the choices that we make to get involved, and then we have bitachon in the outcome. But when it comes to serving Hashem, namely in regarding to doing mitzvahs and refraining to doing averos, for in that area, he has already instructed us of the appropriate path to follow. Hashem already gave us 613 mitzvahs, and he told us all the averos that we have to stay away from. He already spelled out for you exactly what you should and what you shouldn't do. So imagine God told you, you choose that profession, this particular profession. Choose this doctor. When it comes to mitzvahs, that's exactly what Hashem is doing. Hashem is spelling it out for you. Here are your mitzvahs, do those. Here are your averos, don't do those. V'tzivanu livcher ba, he has commanded us to choose that path. V'nasa lanu hayocheles aleho, and has given us the ability to make this choice ourselves, as explained above. It, meaning you have the bechira to go ahead and to do those mitzvahs and to refrain from doing those averos. But you didn't have to have bitachon in the decision making. Meaning you didn't have to say, hey, is this the right thing to do or not to do? You didn't have to do that because you know it. It says it. You open up the book, the Torah, everything is in there. Thus, if we would pray to Hashem to choose the appropriate path, if you're davening to Hashem, Hashem, help me choose which right from wrong. No, you can't do that. And would rely on Hashem to show you the right or wrong way, he would be going astray with the words of prayer, and would be acting foolishly with our bitachon. It wouldn't make sense for you to daven to Hashem in the morning, I'm not sure if I should steal today or not. We know you're not allowed to steal. You can't have bitachon that Hashem is going to help you choose to do the mitzvahs or to choose not to do averos. He already spelled that out. Since Hashem has already informed us the appropriate ways of serving Him, and He has notified us that this way is most beneficial for us in this world and in Olam Haba, the world to come. We see in the pasuk Vayitzavenu Hashem lazes as kolachu k'mo'ela liyiras Hashem. The pasuk Hashem Elokeinu. It says in the pasuk, Hashem has commanded us to perform all these statutes, do all these mitzvahs, to fear Him, our Hashem, for all days are good, showing us that Hashem already told us what to do and what not to do. He's repeating Himself. It also says that you're also going to get schar al mabah. We see that from the words utzdaka tia lanu ki nishmei lasos, and it will be merit. You get that score for us if we are careful to perform the entire command before Hashem, our God. Now, that's the first reason. The first reason is because it doesn't make any sense. You don't have to make a decision when it comes to doing mitzvahs or refraining from doing averos. That is the first reason as to why the bitachon, when it comes to doing personal mitzvahs, has its own category as opposed to going into one of the first three categories and mixing together. Now, another reason he gives, he says, V'oit, and furthermore, kinyana ha'olam, in that regarding worldly matters, yesh tashav hasiba hamashubachas maguna v'hamaguna mushubachas. A means of endeavor that appears at first to be positive can sometimes turn out to be negative, whereas one that appears negative may turn out to be positive, meaning someone brought you an opportunity, and you looked and you said, oh, that seems like a really good opportunity, and you get involved in it, and then it might not even work out. And then there's an opportunity that might not look great to beginning, and then it might work out in the end. However, regarding mitzvahs and averos, it doesn't work that way. Hashem says these are a mitzvahs. It can never change its status from good. Doing this mitzvah is good. It can never ever be bad. An avera, if you go ahead and do an avera, it can never change to being good. Meaning, unlike a job where you have to choose the right path using Bitachon, even choosing something that might not look so great could work out to be great, and something that looks amazing could wind up being a dud. But when it comes to mitzvahs, it never changes status. Mitzvah will always stay good, and avera will always remain bad. Therefore, there is no having Bitachon in the outcome of it, because it's not changing its status. You can't say, oh, I'm going to try this avera, because maybe in the end of the day, it'll wind up being for the good. No, it's not going to happen, brother. It's not happening. Mitzvahs are good, averos are bad, point blank, end of story. For neither the negative nor the positive among them will ever change its status. And they will never be reversed. So a good deed will always be good, and an evil deed will always be evil. So we do not need Hashem help in identifying the good even for the long term. Meaning, you can't have Bitachon and say, Hashem, long-term plan over here. Like, maybe I take this bad direction, but in the end of the day, it winds up being good. No. You have to choose from what's spelled out exactly in the Torah. You have to choose exactly the way Hashem spelled it out for you. And that is the second reason as to why. So to recap, the first one of the reasons is because we already know right from wrong and the direction. And regarding worldly matters, we don't know which direction is good or which is bad. We just have Bitachon that we're choosing the right path. And when it comes to mitzvahs, you always know the direction. And the second one is because when it comes to worldly matters can change its status. You know, a good deal can wind up being bad, a bad deal winds up being good. You don't really know the outcome of that. And so having Bitachon in Hashem, that it works out in your favor, or just having Bitachon in Hashem, that everything works out the way it's supposed to, that's the way to go about it. But when it comes to a mitzvah, that status is never ever changing. That good deed is staying good, and that evil is staying evil all the time. So don't do those things. Now, go about your day, choose wisely. If you have a mitzvah to choose, like we spoke about yesterday, plan your day to do a mitzvah. I think it's a great idea. Even if you don't come about doing it at the end of the day, but because you wanted to do it, you tried to do it, you still get the schar for doing it, because at the end of the day, we know you chose, you thought about it, you chose to do it. Ultimately, to fulfill that mitzvah is all up to Hashem, not up to you. So you get schar even for not doing the work. Thank you, everyone, for joining us all here today, and I love you all.